What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I'm bringing you guys a Yosenju Mystic Mine deck profile. Now I'm pretty sure my last profile was True Draco with Mystic Mine. I don't feel like this card is gonna last very long in like the meta. I think the next ban list, which probably is gonna be after Nats, but the next ban list is probably gonna deal with this card. Maybe to put it to 1. I don't think it's gonna go to 0, but it's probably gonna go to 1. And so me and my friend Andrew were testing. And we're playing around and we're like, what can Mystic Mine? Because everyone's playing this card now. Every like deck is side decking a couple copies of these, just so they can play it going second against Thunder Dragon, against like any meta deck, right? So I was like, you know what? I used to play Yosenju's a lot, and if you guys want to see like a full Yosenju deck profile, let me know, because I can do that as well for you guys. But so I was like, how about if we do like a little Yosenju Mystic Mine deck profile where basically the entire point of the deck is to summon Comma 2. And if you guys don't know, Comma 2 has the effect where she can attack directly, but it only does half battle damage. So at 1800, she'll be doing 900. So basically, it's like stun your opponent out and then just keep poking for 9 until they basically lose. And then for you guys that don't know, Yosenjus also have the effect when they're normal summon, they'll come back to the hand. So kind of like, I think it's like spirit monsters. So basically, you'll never have a monster on the field for Mystic Mine. So going second, you're basically always going to be fine. And then also, you play card of Demise in this, which I'll still explain. Yeah, card of Demise right here. You play card of Demise, and so you might think, why do you want your monsters back to your hand when you play card of Demise? Well, what you can do is you can actually chain it so that, not get rid of terraforming. You can actually chain it so that you can chain link like 1, 2 and the end phase, and then like chain it like Demise. So Demise resolve first, and then comma will resolve, and you'll get the Yosenjus back in your hand essentially. By the way, if my voice sounds weird, I lost my voice the other day. I'm a Raptors fan. I'm from Toronto. So yeah, we were celebrating like for a long time. So yeah, I completely lost my voice outdoors. But anyways, so this is the deck profile. We'll get right into it. I'm also missing a couple cards and proxying a couple cards, so I'm so sorry. You're gonna laugh at what I'm proxying. But so I'm playing double common or triple common 2, sorry, because this is basically your main win condition in a sense. You summon it, you want to get this guy as fast as possible, you want to summon him and then just keep poking your opponent for 900. It's kind of like Hayate poke with Striker Mine. It's basically essentially the same thing. What's a little bit different though is I played triple Sujik, and oh my god, this is why I said you were gonna laugh at me. I only have 2. I cannot find a third for the life of me. Even I literally went to locals, and this card only comes in Secrets of Eternity, and they had none for some reason. It was so random. But anyways, so you play 3, and the reason you play 3 is because this sort of acts like a hand trap where you can discard him during the damage step, and then it'll gain attack, or it'll gain 1,000 attack. Sorry, I should say, not just attack. It'll gain 1,000 attack. So if you have this in your hand, you can like attack with comma 2, and then discard this, and then it'll be 2,800, and then so 2,800 minus 2 would be 14, right? Or not minus 2, divided by 2 would be 14, right? But then he also has a monster effect where when he's on the field, you can target a Yosenju monster on the field and it'll gain 1,000 attack. So essentially, like, you never really want to use his hand trap effect. What you want to really do is you want to normal summon this, activate the effect to normal summon this, and then so now you'll have your field with these 2 on the field. Activate this to make him 1,000 more, and then you'll do like 1,400 damage, or like swing for 14, and then on the end phase, what will happen is because these guys were both normal summoned, they will both be added back to your hand. So that's basically the whole win condition of the deck, is just these 2 guys, and you want to get to them as fast as possible. But you also don't want to play too many monsters, because you are playing Mystic Mine. You are playing Mystic Mine, so there's no point of spamming monsters. And then on top of that, you are playing Demise, right? So these are the only 2 that you really need. Combo 1 is obviously really good, but just for this deck profile, it's kind of like a meme deck, I guess you could say. It's kind of funny, but it also like theoretically does work. Obviously, competitive wise, like this is as competitive as I can make this deck. However, this is not like a super competitive deck. If you guys want to play casually and play for fun, troll your opponent, this is definitely really good. So obviously, Mystic Mine, the heart and soul of the deck. I am playing double terraforming to get to the Mystic Mine as fast as possible. And I'm playing triple card of Demise, double pot of Extravagance, and 1 pot of Duality. Now, I know this is where it can kind of get a little bit expensive with pot of Extravagance. You don't have to play this. You can play pot of Desires. Desires is obviously really, really good. Desires also doesn't conflict with Demise. The thing is with Extravagance is once you use Extravagance, you actually can't use Demise because you can't draw for the rest of the turn. And so the reason I didn't play a 3rd Extravagance is because, so instead of playing 3, I was testing it with 3, right? But with 3, so many times I would draw Extravagance and Demise, so I would have to like choose which one I want to use at whatever moment. But then what I decided to do was cut Extravagance out to 2 and play Duality, because this way, if I draw Duality Extravagance, I can still use both of these, because Duality adds to hand, doesn't actually draw. So this gets around this, and you don't want to max out on these two, because you don't really want to see these two at the same time all the time. So that's why I didn't play 3 Extravagance. And of course, like I said, a budget alternative, I'll probably put it up on the screen, but if I don't, I'll say it right here. Pot of Desires works perfectly fine in this deck. You can also play like something like Reckless Greed as a trap instead, because it is a control deck, so you don't have to be like using these as fast as possible, like, you know. So Reckless Greed is also possible in this deck. Triple Tanky, because this is going to search your Yosenju, 2 is basically what you want to search right away, and it does give your opponent, or it does give your monsters an 100 attack. So that's why it's just, I know it's like not a lot of attack, but it does kind of boost your common 2, and these do stack. So if you do happen to draw multiple of them, you can only activate one once per turn. But if you do happen to have like 2 of them or 3 of them on the field at any point, it's gonna be 300 extra attack plus search obviously 3 times. So that's really, really good. And then I'm playing triple MST. I don't want to play Twin Twister because I don't want to get rid of anything in my hand. I'd rather keep everything in my hand. MST is pretty good now. You hit a field spell, like you hit something like a Babel, you hit the Roar against Salamangre. It's really, really good. Triple Call by the Grave. Now this is a card that I was kind of debating, but you still do want to go first with this deck. By the way, the reason you still want to go first is because, like I said earlier, even when you demise, and let's say you do have your monsters going first, you can just normally summon your monsters. So like let's say you do Comet 2 into your Sujik, right? So let's say you draw these 2 turn 1 with demise. It's still not bad, because at the end phase, like I explained, these 2 will still come back to your hand without having to discard them, which is why like it still works really, really well. So that's why I played Called by the Grave, because you do still want to go first with this deck. Don't get me wrong, this deck can still go second, and again, Mystic Mind makes it so that you can actually go second with this deck. And like, even this is not even like break boards, but if your opponent makes a really, really big board, then you can just Comet 2, right? And once you Comet 2, like, you'll just keep attacking directly, right? So that's the point. But I did debate changing this in for more traps to stun my opponent. Called by the Grave does act as a defensive card as well, because going first you can set it, it'll hit the Ray, like it'll disrupt Ray, it'll disrupt a lot of like Salamangre plays, it'll disrupt Orcus plays, so that's why it's still really, really good in my opinion. And then for the last spell, I'm just playing the 1 Monster Reborn. This is only because if you since you play such a low monster count, and you're only playing 6 monsters, I don't want to lose them. So if somehow they get rid of my Comet 2, through whatever means, I need to be able to get my monsters back to win. And sometimes this also just helps you push for game. When your opponent establishes a board, and let's say they have something in the graveyard, you can just summon this, or if you break your opponent's board as well, you can have something like this just to help you, you know, attack for game and whatnot. So Monster Reborn is obviously really, really good. And again, like this deck, like I said, before I get into the traps, I'll keep talking here, but this deck is really just in testing. It's for fun. I've played it. It's a kind of a trollish deck. It is like competitively viable. Like the whole reason I'm making deck profiles is because it's kind of a budget deck, but it is also kind of like competitively viable. Boom, I can't even speak. Triple Metaverse, standard, like, I mean, you're playing Mystic Mind, you need to see it. Double Back to the Front, this kind of acts like a Monster Reborn, but of course, Monster Reborn is only at 1. Back to the Front, target 1 monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense position, it doesn't matter. The thing is, if this card is special summoned, it actually won't come back to your hand, so it will leave you stuck with 1 monster on the field. But if your opponent does have a board like of like 5 or 6 monsters, they'll still have more monsters than you. I don't know why I said 5 or 6. You need like the freaking extra monster zone for that. But if your opponent does have like 2 or 3 monsters, like more than 1 monster essentially, it doesn't matter that this card will stay on the field, because they're not going to be able to attack into it, and then you'll just put them in attack position and keep poking your opponent down. So that's why Back to the Front is really, really good. Double Lost Wind. Now you can play Strike. I didn't want to play Strike because like this deck, I guess, like with Mystic Mind and whatnot, can go into time pretty often, so you don't want to lose life points like with Strike. Also, the reason I play Lost Wind, this will make more sense in a little bit, but I also play Triple Imperm. This is kind of expensive. Obviously, if you can't afford the Imperms, you don't need them. You can play different traps. You can play battle traps. You can play whatever. But the reason I play the Lost Wind over the Strike and then the Imperm is because I'm also playing Triple Trap Trick, and I only have 2 guys. Sorry for that. I only have 2 Trap Trick, but you should be playing 3 essentially, because the reason you want to play 3 Trap Trick is because Trap Trick can actually search any single one of these, and the reason I play double Lost Wind, double Back to the Front is because if I do need a Lost Wind, or if I do need a Back to the Front, I can always banish one and get the second one, right? So that's why I do play Lost Wind. Triple Lost Wind also can effectively search Impermanence and search Metaverse. So Trap Trick, any trap in this deck that I'm playing can be searched by Trap Trick, right? So this is a 40 card main deck. Then the extra deck I'll show you guys right now, but you guys will realize while you guys are looking through the extra deck that it's actually kind of funny. So the extra deck that I have going on for you guys is only before I'll show you the side deck as well, is only 11 cards, and the reason it's only 11 cards is because it'll also make sense with the side. Actually, I'll show you guys the side deck first, because I think it'll make more sense when you guys see the side deck. So for this side deck, I am playing double Necro Valley and then the set rotation. So this is kind of like a kind of spicy-ish tech that I'm thinking of playing. This is only because, so Necro Valley makes it so that your opponent can't move cards in their graveyard. So obviously it's really, really good in this format. And if you can't get to Mystic Mine fast enough, you can obviously get to Necro Valley, which is really, really strong. And then the set rotation, because if you're playing something against Orcus, right, and let's say you go first against Orcus, you can set this card, and then let's say they activate the Galatea effect to set Babel. What you can do is you can actually chain rotation and then set their like Necro Valley or set your Mystic Mine to their side of the field and then activate your own Necro Valley or whatever. And then when you do that, or you'll set your own Necro Valley, when you do that, because the card will be face down, they actually can't activate or set other field spell cards. So what they'll do is they'll have to search the Crescendo instead, and then obviously you still want to play around Crescendo, but they'll have to do that and can't get the Babel play going, which is obviously really, really good because the Ding Girsu pop 2 with a PK link is like really hard on this deck if you don't have Mystic Mine on your side of the field. So that's why I decided to play this. It's just one of those cards that's really like good, and then it gets you to your field spells faster. Triple Lancia, this is actually also really good because with Demise, with artifacts, you guys can obviously always set the artifacts like need be, but going second, again, this just beats so many decks right now. And then the rest of the side deck is triple evenly matched. I mean, you just want to blow out against Striker, against True Draco, and whatnot. Again, it's also a normal trap. It's really weird, but theoretically, if you, let's say you super break or whatever, you can just set your trap, but let's say you open the trap trick, you can just set your trap trick pass, and then when your opponent's turn comes, you can actually just like chain your trap trick or like activate your trap trick, get this, and then set this, but this will be the only card on your field still. So at the end of their battle phase, you can just obviously always flip the evenly matched and then still get it off as if you're activating from your hand. So it's kind of funny. It doesn't come up too often, but it could. Triple Waking the Dragon, because obviously you're playing a stun-based deck, and this coming in is also really good because a lot of people are going to start siding in Twin Twisters for you, so Waking the Dragon is also very, very good. And Triple Typhoon. This card is a trap, obviously, but it's also like kind of a hand trap because if your opponent controls 2 or more like set cards, you can obviously just activate it and it becomes just another MST. And if they're playing like PK Orcust or like Trickstar Orcust, I mean whatever Orcust deck profile, they'll be setting the 2 PK traps plus like the Babel. So Typhoon obviously will just effectively get rid of your Babel, get rid of their Babel right away, right? And you can activate it from your hand. But worst case scenario, you can always just set it. It's a trap card, right? So that's it for the side deck. It is, I think, 15 cards here. And then we'll get into the extra deck real quick. So for the extra deck, like I said earlier, I'm only playing 11 cards, and they're just like really random cards. So I'm playing the Utopia package because you can make rank 4s with Comet 2 and Sujik. Like, if you normal summon and then you activate the effect slash summon this, you can like, if you need to push for just a little bit more damage, you can just make Utopia and Utopia Lightning and then just attack for game. And basically the entire extra deck that I'm about to show you guys right now is that same thing where you make monsters that can just help you attack or burn for game. Black Ship of Corn burns for game. Dark Rebellion attacks for game. Like literally, and the reason you play all of these is because with Extravagance, once you banish them, you still want different options. So for example, like with the Utopia, if you can't make it to Utopia, you can make it to Dark Rebellion, let's say, something like that, you know? So you'll always have a card that's like available to like beat your opponent with. So Dark Rebellion, obviously. Cowboy, I play double. You actually should be playing triple. Again, like I said, this extra deck is only 11 cards because the extra deck doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is you can make rank 4s and make cards that can potentially burn your opponent, right? So triple Cowboy you should be playing. I only have 2. Just because I have my ulti and I never really play more than 1 in my actual deck, so I never really pick up multiple. But so yeah, you should be playing 3 because of just the chance of banishing it. These are just Waking the Dragon targets: Ultimate Falco, Exterio, Beals, Naturia Beast, Naturia Barkion. This is only, again, not a full 15 card extra deck, but you can triple up on Cowboy. I would definitely say if you guys know any other Waking the Dragon targets, put them in. You can double up on Dark Rebellion, maybe put a second Lightning, second Utopia so they don't get banished, and whatever it is, just so you can summon these off of Waking the Dragon / off of, like, you can make a rank 4 that can just help you potentially win a game. And then, because, like, let's say you attack with Kama 2 and Sujik, and your opponent, because this damage is like for 800 to, or sorry, 900 to, I think with the 1000 boost it's like 1400. So let's say you're doing 1400 a turn, and then like near the end of the game your opponent's down to like 500 or 600 like life points. You can obviously just cowboy for game, and like it's funny, but it's actually doable, right? So that's why I play that. So anything essentially in the extra deck is just cards that can either be summoned off Waking the Dragon like these guys, or can just burn your opponent / just attack for game, because that's basically what you're trying to go for every single time with this deck, is just stall your opponent out and then just keep poking them. It's just kind of like a if you guys ever played Yosenju, it's like, this is like a fun version of Yosenju beatdown essentially. But if you guys did enjoy the deck profile, let me know. Obviously, if you guys have any suggestions or changes, again, like this deck was just made for fun, but if you guys do have any suggestions or changes, let me know. And with that, Spanko signing out. Peace.